Tonight on Hotty Toddy News, a community is grieving after a family was killed at a dangerous intersection. Now they are uniting to make change. City leaders lifted COVID restrictions and now business downtown are adjusting. 1 year into the pandemic and university athletic leaders are speaking out. With restrictions lifted, athletics plan to make a comeback.
From the School of Journalism and New Media on the campus of the University of Mississippi, this is Hotty Toddy News.
Hello and good evening. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Tierney Key. We begin our newscast with breaking news. The Calhoun City Police Chief was arrested today on an embezzlement charge. LaTanya Williams posted a $25,000 bond this afternoon after being arrested on one count of embezzlement. This is a developing story. Stay with Hotty Toddy News as we continue to follow. The Oxford community is desperately looking for a change after a crash at a dangerous intersection took the lives of a young family. Reporter GRACYN Ashmore is on location with more. GRACYN?
Yes, Tierney, multiple wrecks have been seen at this busy intersection, specifically during that morning and afternoon time when the Lafayette School District is getting in and out of school for the day. A trash truck struck a car at the intersection of Highway 6 and Buddy Parkway last week, killing a father and his 2 children on their way to school. This event devastated the community, and Oxford Police Department Officer Breck Jones says residents rallied around the grieving family.
Oxford's a special place. It's somewhere where we really care about people, and it just feels like a big family. And when something happens tragically like that, we really want to rally around and try to show the love.
The accident prompted Oxford resident Carrie Long to start a petition online asking for changes to the busy highway area. The petition is asking the city to turn off the left yield indicator, reduce the speed limit to 55 miles per hour, create a school zone time speed limit of 45 miles per hour, and add speed bumps approaching that intersection. One Lafayette School District parent is crushed by the accident and hopes to see changes soon.
Unfortunately, it usually takes a tragedy for some type of change to occur, and I hate that this tragedy had to occur in order for the petition to go around.
The petition collected over 5,500 signatures in less than a week, garnering strong support for the changes. As a result, the Mississippi Department of Transportation issued a statement that says they hear the demands of the community and a change needs to happen, but they did not specify what those changes will be because the investigation is still ongoing. Moving forward, MDOT does not have a specific timeline for when these changes could be implemented. Back to you, Tierney.
The animal shelter crisis continues. This week, city leaders announced the shelter is closed for the foreseeable future. Reporter Grace Marion breaks down the latest medical records of precious animals at the shelter from local vets.
After weeks of investigation, veterinarians Kathy Kavam and PHILLIP Bushby were called in to inspect the Mississippi Critters facility last week. Bushby says he was disappointed in what he saw.
So I actually went with a concern that they had 6 days to clean everything up or move animals out or hide things. Well, boy, if they had cleaned anything or hidden anything, my concern is it could have been a whole lot worse, and this was the best they could do. Basically, it seems like they did nothing in preparation for our coming.
Bushby's chief concern was the total lack of records for animals at the shelter, including medical and adoption records.
We asked just for basic records of intake, adoption, placement in foster homes, transport, euthanasia. They did not have any of those records. They didn't even have records of which animals had been vaccinated and which animals had not been vaccinated for anything.
As a result of the investigation, board member Janice Antonow announced at the shelter's board meeting earlier this week that they would be shutting down.
We don't have specific plans right now for the shelter. I do know we're going to close down, at least temporarily. We're just taking it one step at a time. The first thing, the main thing right now is to get all the animals out of there.
Animals in the shelter will still be available for foster and adoption. Those left over will be transported to other shelters, some as far as Maryland. While the shelter is not accepting any new animals, they are still in need of volunteers to walk their dogs each morning. At least one offer has been made to the city to take over the shelter. For Hotty Toddy News, I'm Grace Marion.
1 year into the pandemic, things are finally working out for athletics. More people are allowed to attend games, and this could mean big changes for some of the university staff. Caroline Chrysler has more.
Empty stands are beginning to fill up again, but a year since COVID shut athletics down, the impacts can still be felt across the board, including the Ole Miss production team, which produces games for SEC Network. Assistant Athletic Director Shane Sanford says budget cuts affected the control room. The team could not produce as many sports shows as before the pandemic, and many employees lost their jobs. Graduate Assistant Mason Atkins says he was concerned he would lose his scholarship as a result of job cuts.
It was a little bit of a question mark over the summer, but it was going to be what we had talked about in the spring, but we made it work through the fall and everything's going back.
When games did come back, COVID guidelines were in place and implemented for each game since.
We have to wear masks now whenever we're at work, and then when we're walking around anywhere, we're wearing masks, and if we're working on camera, we have to be COVID tested before going into the game and being around athletes, so that's something we didn't have to deal with before.
Now that Mississippi is opening up, game capacity has increased, and the production team members are hopeful for more games and jobs to return as restrictions decrease.
Any sporting event is more fun with fans around, so without, like, for basketball, there was literally 0 fans, so we didn't have anything to shoot other than the players and coaches. So hopefully with baseball, more fans will be coming in, so it'll be a lot more fun with Swayze air showers and stuff.
Students, including student workers, are excited to see the capacity increase in stadiums. With more fans in the stands, there's more fun to be had at work. If you're interested in getting in on the fun just beginning at Swayze, check out the Ole Miss Athletics website for tickets and updated guidelines. Caroline Chrysler, Hotty Toddy News.
Despite COVID-19 impact on athletics, our spring team had a packed weekend. Men's basketball team won against Vanderbilt. Final score was 56-46 A good note to end on for Devontae Schuler and Romello White, who are graduating in the spring. For baseball and softball, things were a bit more positive with the sweep against their opponents all weekend long. Softball won doubleheaders against 3 different teams, allowing only 1 run all weekend. For baseball, head coach Mike Bianco, the series win against Belmont was monumental, earning his 500th win in Swayze Stadium. Third baseman Tim Elko had a great weekend of play against Belmont, nominating him SEC Player of the Week. And we're heading into another packed weekend for athletics. baseball takes on University of Louisiana Monroe at Swayze. softball takes on rival Mississippi State, also at home. And Ole Miss men's basketball will also be playing in the SEC tournament this weekend in Nashville, Tennessee. Watch it on the SEC Network. An 18-year-old is seeking the city's highest office. Oxford Brandon Pettis is running for mayor. Matthew Henley has more about the young politician.
On this year's ballot for the mayor's race is one of the youngest candidates to ever run for the office in Oxford.
My community is able to embrace change, so I felt that it would be something good to do for the city.
At just 18 years old, Brandon Pettis is taking the leap into local government after being fed up with the nation's political environment of the last few years.
I feel like it's just a bunch of people arguing and not trying to help people, which is what I believe that government is there for.
But for Pettis, ambitious pursuits are nothing new.
This is where all of my best memories happen.
He graduated early from Oxford High School at age 16. And that's where he met one of his campaign staffers, Chloe Jones.
We met freshman year of high school in our band program, and my first impression of him was, oh my gosh, who is this kid? He is like so ambitious.
And last year, Pettis told his friends that he'd be running for mayor. Their reaction?
Are you serious?
But despite the criticism surrounding his youth, Pettis and his team say age doesn't affect the capability to lead.
All across the United States right now, actually, younger people are running for offices and doing amazing things that only older people would have done back then. And I think that's really beautiful.
He's really been one to wow the older people because they would be like, oh my gosh, you're so mature for your age and everything. And really it's just a mindset. And he has that mindset.
Jones says her role is to make sure that people know what kind of person and leader Brandon is.
He's strong, will not give up, resilient, and unapologetic about, you know, what he believes in and what he stands for, and he will not quit until, you know, he gets what he needs done.
If he wins?
I have not thought much about if I win, honestly. Making affordable housing more accessible and also bringing job industry to the city since everything is closing.
And if he loses?
Not immediately, but I'm going to go back to school and continue learning, and this isn't the end for me here. It's just the beginning.
Win or lose, Pettis says he wants to set an example for other kids who have a similar desire to institute change.
I just want to let people know that anything is possible, whether or not, like you said, I win or lose. I still made it to the ballot, and that was monumental to me.
Brandon says he'll be running as an independent in this year's mayoral race against incumbent mayor Robin Tannehill, who will also be running as an independent. And for more on Brandon, you can check out his website at pettisformayor.com. That is PETTIS, the number 4 mayor.com. And that general election will take place this summer on June 8th. In Oxford, for Hotty Toddy News, I'm Matthew Henley.
There are 3 candidates running for office. Cal Davis is running unopposed as Republican. Oxford Mayor Robin Tannehill is hoping for another 4 years in seat. However, this time she's running as independent against Pettis. The primary election is the first Tuesday in April. Any runoffs that are required will be 3 weeks later. The general election is set for the first Tuesday in June. In national political news, the House of Representatives passed the $1.9 trillion coronavirus relief bill. It will now head to the President Biden's desk for signature. This bill means more money in millions of struggling Americans' pockets, including $1,400 stimulus checks for individuals earning up to $75,000. After months of adjusting to new outdoor dining, some restaurants are looking forward to making these changes permanent. AJ Norwood spoke with some restaurant owners about their plan.
Nearly 6 months after adding outdoor seating areas to restaurants, Proud Larry's owner Scott CARADINE says a lot of these venues are looking to keep these outdoor spaces available to bring in more business.
Their plan is to keep them year-round, but they want to make them permanent, and they want them to look nice.
Restaurants like the Blind Pig and Proud Larry's are looking to make their outdoor seating areas more permanent, but they have a lot of hoops to jump through with the city of Oxford if they want to make that happen. Hoops like constructing permanent patios in place of these temporary structures.
We have been really eager to invest in our outdoor dining to make it more worthy of the square, and as even the mayor said to me, have it not look like the county fair.
While the restaurant owners are making plans to improve their patios, the city has still not made a final decision on what to do with them.
We hope they make it permanent. We look forward to them making something permanent here so we can use it, because we like it. Our customers like it.
For now, patios are still here, and warmer weather is drawing people out to enjoy their time at these restaurants. Reporting for Hotty Toddy News, I'm AJ Norwood.
As things slowly return back to normal, Oxford double-decker tour bus is rounding the corner, but you can expect restrictions for safety. Reporter Chauncey Taylor has details.
When everything went into lockdown exactly a year ago, one of Oxford's main attractions, the double-decker bus, stopped running as well. Partnerships manager Jessica Lynch at Visit Oxford says the double-decker bus will be running its usual route starting March 19th, but with a few exceptions.
We will have restrictions based on seating, so just spaced out, and then we'll also have a limited capacity so that people are able to spread out according to their family unit. Social distancing and mask will be required while you're on the bus as well.
Roanoke, Faulkner House, the baseball stadium, Oxford City Hall, and the Grove are just a few places that the double-decker stops. Ole Miss senior Charles King said that he's happy to have the buses back and that the double-decker plays a big role in the city of Oxford.
I feel like if you've never ridden a double-decker bus, you'll notice a lot of things in the city of Oxford, just anywhere else that you really wouldn't even have noticed before, just driving in a regular car or even walking sometimes, because, I mean, you might be on your phone, you might, but I feel like on a double-decker bus, you're really just trying to soak in the atmosphere, you're trying to soak in the city and soak in the streets that you're driving through.
The Oxford double-decker buses are back. The capacity is 27 people. Everyone has to wear a mask, and it has to be social distance. This has been Chauncey Taylor, Hotty Toddy News.
That's all we have today. Thank you for tuning in. Hotty Toddy News, I'm Tierney Key. Thank you, and see you next week.